Subject, thriving to be heard. Can you hear me now? 1 Samuel 3:9. By the elder Nathaniel. These videos may be spiritual, metaphysics, mystic, esoteric wisdom, or exoteric teachings. These lessons are not to harm any but to open our eyes to the Anointed One. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. No copyright infringement intended. All rights belong to their respective owners. Subject, thriving to be heard. Can you hear me now? 1 Samuel 3:9, where Samuel is told, Go, lie down, and it shall be, if he call thee, that thou shalt say, Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. The call is not the problem, the hearing is. Samuel was not in a distant place. He was in the temple, close to God, yet still learning to hear. God was speaking, but Samuel did not yet recognize who was calling. This is the foundation of thriving to be heard. Not that God is silent, but that man must be trained to hear rightly. The moment of transition. Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. 1 Samuel 3:9. This is the moment Samuel moved from confusion to clarity. External noise to recognizing God's voice. Serving in position to living in relationship. He did not just exist in the temple. He became responsive to the voice within it. Thriving to be heard. What it really means. To thrive in this context is not about being heard by people, but the Creator also. It is about becoming a vessel that hears God clearly. So that what flows out of you is not your voice but His. 1. From human hearing, spiritual discernment. Samuel heard a voice physically, but did not understand it spiritually. Many hear thoughts, emotions, impressions. But thriving requires discernment, knowing what is from God versus what is from self. 2. The position of hearing. Go, lie down. Eli did not tell Samuel to run. He told him to lie down. Why? Because true hearing comes from stillness, rest, surrender. Not striving, but yielding. In Matthew 6:25-34, Jesus instructs against anxiety by urging followers to meditate on God's providential care of nature, such as birds and lilies, as evidence that He will provide for human needs. He highlights that worry is futile, cannot add length to life, and that focusing on God's kingdom reduces anxiety, encouraging trust over panic. 3. The response that opens heaven. Samuel was given exact words. Speak, Lord. This teaches. God speaks. But man must invite, receive, and submit. Hearing is not passive. It is a response posture. Can you hear me now? The true question. This is not God struggling to speak. This is God asking. Are you still enough to hear me? Are you able to discern my voice from your own? Are you willing to respond when I speak? Thriving flow, for your teaching framework. You can structure this like your prayer elevator. Floor 1, hearing sounds, noise, thoughts, emotions. Floor 2, recognizing the call. Something is speaking. Floor 3, discernment. This is the Lord. Floor 4, surrender. Speak, Lord. Floor 5, alignment. Thy servant heareth. Floor 6, expression. Now what flows out of you carries His voice. Now from your voice Christ can be heard. Christ-centered revelation. Samuel heard a voice in the night. But we now have something greater. Christ in you, the hope of glory, Colossians 1:27. So the question shifts from, is God speaking out there? To, Am I hearing him within? Final declaration. You do not thrive by speaking more. You thrive by hearing clearly. And when you truly hear him, your life becomes the answer to his voice. Sometimes you have to go back. Before Samuel could move forward, he had to go back and lie down again. Eli said, "Go, lie down." This is powerful. Samuel heard the call, ran in the wrong direction, was corrected, then told to return to the place of hearing. This is the missing key for many. We want to move forward quickly, but God will often say, "Go back. Go back to stillness, humility, the place where you first heard, the posture you left too early." Going back is not failure. It is alignment. Not punishment but positioning. Not regression but correction. Not delay but preparation. Samuel didn't miss God. He just needed to return and hear correctly. The position of hearing again. Go, lie down. This shows. Hearing requires rest. Clarity requires stillness. Revelation requires submission. You cannot hear clearly while rushing ahead of God. The spiritual pattern. 1. God speaks. 2. Man misunderstands. 3. Instruction comes. 4. Man goes back. 5. God speaks again. 6. Now, clarity. Thriving to be heard, full revelation. To thrive is not to always move forward. It is to be willing to return until you hear right. Because forward movement without clear hearing leads to confusion. But going back with humility leads to revelation. Prayer elevator and return principle. Floor 1. Hearing sounds. Floor 2. Recognizing the call. Return, go back and lie down. Floor 3. Discernment. Floor 4. Speak, Lord. Floor 5. Thy servant heareth. Floor 6. Expression, his voice through you. Christ-centered insight. Sometimes going back means leaving your own thoughts, leaving fleshly reasoning, returning to Christ within. Not backward in life, but inward to truth. Final declaration. Sometimes you have to go back. Not to repeat the moment, but to hear it correctly. Because when you hear him clearly, you don't just respond, you rise.